Trust the process. You know, it's kind of weird to think that it was like 7 years ago when this whole process started. And here we are now. The future of the 76ers process looks in jeopardy. And quite honestly, it looks like the rebuild has been a failure. Despite minor playoff success, which should be viewed as an accomplishment considering how bad they were during the process, the end goal of the process was to be a title contender and win a title. And it doesn't look like that's going to happen. And while many have said that, this is a sign that tanking doesn't work, I don't think that's the case at all. I don't think tanking is what led to the Sixers' downfall. And, we can talk about all the previous draft decisions and things like that, and why tanking, getting those picks and picking bad players was their downfall. But there's one thing that particularly stands out to me that kind of really led to this whole downfall, and it's something that, if they did it correctly, could have led them to being a future dynasty, but because it didn't, it's leading to potentially the breakup of the whole team. But before we do get into today's video, if you're new, like the NBA, WNBA, high school, college, really like basketball in general, I really think that you would love this channel. So if you aren't already, feel free to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, be notified whenever I release a video. I upload on a new daily basis. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I'm currently at 364 subscribers. So liking, subscribing, doing all those things will be a really big help to me. But with that being said, let's get right into the video. Entering the 2018 NBA Draft, the Philadelphia 76ers held the 10th overall pick, which they had acquired in a 3-team trade with the Bucks and Suns a while back, involving then supposed to be next Jason Kidd, Michael Carter-Williams, but that's besides the point. They held the 10th pick in this draft, and if they nail this pick and hit it out of the park, it will set them up for a dynasty, because they drafted Markelle Fultz the year prior, and while Markelle Fultz was dealing with a bunch of weird things because of his injury, he still was viewed as a guy with a lot of promise and potential, and if he works out and figures out the whole shooting thing, and you get this 10th pick right, you could be set up for a dynasty around Embiid and Simmons. And they did get the right guy, because with the 10th overall pick, the 76ers would select Mikal Bridges, a small forward out of Villanova. Bridges was viewed as a 3-and-D wing, and honestly was a perfect fit for the Sixers. But too bad he wouldn't be playing for the Sixers, as he would be traded to the Suns in exchange for the 16th overall pick, Zhaire Smith, a shooting guard at Texas Tech, and a future first-round pick from the Miami Heat. Zhaire Smith was a raw athlete that was viewed to have a lot of upside but a very low floor. It seemed like Philly would actually be a great place to develop him, but they kind of were in a win situation. They needed impact players, not project players. And what makes this worse is the fact that Zhaire Smith has only played 13 games in the NBA so far, and he's only averaged 3.7 points per game and shot 47.7 for a true shooting percentage, which isn't good at all. Meanwhile, Mikal Bridges has developed into everything he was expected to be, and people are starting to notice that in the bubble. Plus, based off where the Miami Heat are now and where they're probably expected to be next year, I doubt that 2021 first-round pick is gonna be much of anything. So instead of having this awesome 3-and-D wing, the Sixers now have a projected late first-round pick, and the guy has only played 13 games in the NBA. However, that's not all. Now, first of all, let's look at the scenario where they still make this trade and instead get the 16th overall pick. That still means that you took Zhaire Smith, who's only played 13 games in the NBA, over Dante DiVincenzo, who has proven to be a valuable piece for the Bucks, and the Bucks have the best record in the league, and he's having an impact on that team. Lonnie Walker, who's proven to be a solid player when given opportunity. Kevin Huerter, who has shown signs of not only being a good shooter, but a solid all-around player. Aaron Holiday, who's shown he can be a productive player in a playoff team. And so yeah, they missed on players who can contribute to their team right away. And now let's look at it if they don't make the trade and they stay at the 10th overall pick. I already talked about if they kept Mikal Bridges and why that would have been a better idea than trading him for Zhaire Smith. But that's not all. Let's talk about the fact that they could have had Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's proven that he's going to be a good player in the league, and has all-star potential. Now, the argument against taking Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is that you still have Markelle Fultz on the roster and you wanted to give Fultz a chance, but the thing is, you can still give Fultz a chance because they drafted a shooting guard with the 16th overall pick. So, like, taking a guard in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander wouldn't have been a bad idea. So, again, it doesn't change the fact that you passed on a small forward for a shooting guard, and then you also passed on another good guard, but also you just passed on a future all-star guard. But the biggest mistake to me, though, isn't Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, it's passing on Michael Porter Jr. Say what you want about Michael Porter Jr.'s beliefs, but, you know, Michael Porter Jr. is a special offensive talent. And you might be saying, well, he had injury concerns with the back and everything. Well, that didn't stop them from picking Nerlens Noel and Joel Embiid when they had injuries. So why should it stop them from drafting Michael Porter Jr.? I mean, the Sixers have a history of redshirting rookies because of injuries. Why not take a risk on a player who would have been the first overall pick potentially had he been healthy? Why did they do this? Because the Sixers are a bad front office. You know, I can talk about the other bad draft moves that they made, Jahlil Okafor and Markelle Fultz, but the thing is, they're understandable for why they did it. Jahlil Okafor was viewed as a top 3 pick, and many thought at one point in 2015 that he would be the first overall pick. So taking him 3rd overall really wasn't something that was viewed as crazy at the time and didn't make sense. And the thing about Markelle Fultz and trading up for him is Markelle Fultz was the consensus 1st overall pick, and had he not dealt with injuries, would have been the perfect guard to play alongside Simmons and Embiid, and might even be better than one, if not both of them. You know, but I have answers for those things. I don't have an answer as to why the Sixers did anything they did in that 2018 NBA draft. Why did they pass on Michael Porter Jr. even though they have a history of taking talented players with injury history? I don't know. Why did they pick Mikal Bridges, who was perfect for that team, and then trade him for a project player? I don't know. Why did they then trade down to take a project player who had a ceiling of an average player, but, you know, could have had a potential star or an immediate impact player if they just stayed at 10? I don't know. It's frustrating to see a team with that many assets just use them incorrectly. And, you know, blame Elton Brand for all of this. But that's the end of this video. If you made it to this point, thank you very much. It means a lot to me. Like, subscribe, do all those things. Help me reach 1,000 subscribers again. But have a nice day. If you made it to this point in the video, thank you so much. It means so much to me, guys. You guys don't understand. But again, thank you. Like and subscribe if you're new. Feel free to leave feedback in the comments section below. And I'll see you guys in the next video.